next one of the great untold stories of the Second World War. Hidden in the countryside near Swindon is a place that has held its secret for more than 70 years. Thousands of civilians were secretly trained there to form a lethal underground army of resistance fighters. Their mission was to defend Britain in the event of a German invasion. It's 1940. Over 300,000 exhausted soldiers have been evacuated from Dunkirk, and the national mood is grim. Churchill is convinced it's only a matter of time before Britain is invaded. So he ordered a secret civilian army to be assembled all across Britain. Units of 6 men would be trained to gather intelligence and to sabotage German units in the event of an invasion. Britain's future was in their hands. It was called the Auxiliary Unit. The secret headquarters where the men were trained lay behind these walls in drowsy Coleshill. At the moment this estate is only open for guided tours, but soon, thanks to the National Trust's warden Keith Blaxhall, this old guardhouse will bring the secret history alive. Keith, you'd like to see this place in Coleshill opened to the public, wouldn't you? Why is that?
We'd love people to have sort of more access to the story about auxiliary units. It's an amazing secret story and new facts are coming out all the time. But of course the people that are involved with it are now very, very elderly, and a lot will carry their secrets to the grave with them.
It's a surprisingly little known part of our history. Geoff Devereaux was an auxiliary unit patrol leader in Worcestershire.
There were 2 functions that we did. We had to destroy the people guarding the equipment and then blow up the equipment. The hardest part was destroying the people, of course.
Geoff was recruited because he was one of the UK's top Boy Scouts. It was just another day at the factory where he worked when he got a mysterious phone call.
He said, my name is Captain John Todd of the Intelligence Corps, and I want to speak to you urgently, and I'd like to do it in a quarter of an hour's time. And he said, come to the main gate and I shall be sitting in a black Pontiac. And so I plucked up courage and went across the road and opened the door and got in, and he drove off.
Were you scared?
Oh, it's terrifying.
Geoff was sworn to secrecy on a Bible and was suddenly an official member of the auxiliary unit. The Scouts proved to be an ideal source of eager young men. Ted Jeffries was 13 years old when he was enlisted as a covert messenger to go between Coleshill and another intelligence base in the area. Ted, what was your role? What did you have to do?
I brought messages from Westrup House Highworth to here. The things they didn't want to use the telephone for, so they give it to me.
How did you transport the messages?
Well, in the first place, I come on roller skates.
Roller skates.
In fact, I wore the wheels out, and the army people sent to America to get a new set of wheels for me roller skates. So that shows how important it was.
Ted had a code word to use on his missions, the exotic-sounding Garbo Sugar. But more seriously, they even armed him to kill. If you should see a member of the enemy army, what were you supposed to do?
If I got caught up here and they wanted to know anything, the odd one, then you could tackle him if necessary. If he wanted to take me away, then I'd have to go at it to get myself away.
Coleshill House was a perfect HQ because of its secluded position, good transport links and large estate. Geoff and later up to 5,000 men came here for the training that would make them into a deadly force. Most would arrive by train and then make their way to this post office in Highworth, where the formidable postmistress Mabel Stranks would examine their documents, then call up an escort to collect them. Mabel was rumoured to be on a hit list compiled by Hitler. She was the gateway to the top secret world at Coleshill.
But they weren't bought directly. It may have taken them half an hour, 3/4 an hour to get here, because they took them by such a sort of a backward way.
And what was the idea behind that?
So they lost their bearings and had no idea where they were.
To get an idea of what these recruits went through, I've come to get some training with some ex-military specialists using similar weapons. I'm totally scared. I don't
That's
even.
okay, hold it tight.
It's not going to backfire or anything. Okay. Oh my goodness, that's horrible. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Is that like they would have had? They would have these.
Absolutely.
They learned unarmed combat,
Like so.
how to move silently, grenade use,
Grenade!
and the use of explosives to take out vehicles, train lines, and bridges. All these techniques were detailed in handbooks for handy reference after the training.
There's a few surviving handbooks. They were called calendars and a diary. Very badly disguised. But inside them, it's everything they need to know, really. But you have to understand, these guys weren't just trained like the Home Guard were trained. They were trained as real guerrillas. It wasn't going to be pleasant, and the sort of training that they got involved with was pretty gruesome.
In the event of an invasion, church bells would have rung across the land, and each unit would swiftly retreat to their own underground operational base, like this one at Coleshill, emerging at night to carry out sabotage.
Right. Well, in front of us, Josie, you can see a blast wall. Behind that is the entrance shaft with a ladder coming down from above ground. And had the hatch been discovered, probably they'd have dropped a grenade down, and the blast from the grenade, the shrapnel, would have flown and been caught by the wall instead of coming through and hitting the people inside.
Okay.
And then on the wall here, you can see the outline where there was a little table.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Then on top of that stood a cooker, and then the flue from the cooker went up inside a hollow tree. So all the smoke or smells and things would come out high in the canopy level.
Though it's extremely cramped, the units weren't expected to be in the bunker for long. Those church bells were actually a death knell for the auxiliaries.
You'll have enough explosives to keep you alive for 15 days if you used every night, and your chances of surviving more than 15 days are nil.
But would all these tactics have been enough to disrupt Hitler's plans?
Definitely, I think they would have been the thorn in the enemy's side. They were obviously small numbers, but they would have been annoying enough to cause disruption.
And just let them know that we weren't going to be taken that easily. However, the auxiliary unit wouldn't just have been fighting Germans. Suspected Nazi sympathisers were in their sights too. Each unit was given a letter to be opened on invasion.
What happened was that somebody down here in Devon opened his envelope, and it contained a list of people that were to be eliminated immediately. And the first person on the list was the Chief Constable of Devon. I would have had it on my conscience, but on the other hand, I was quite ready to kill any other Germans. They had to be regarded as Germans if they weren't on our side.
Are you glad that this story is now going to be opened up to the public? Do you think it should be told more widely?
Yes, I think it should be told. I think all this history should be brought out now. There's nothing to lose by doing it, and a lot of people, most of the people are dead now, of course. I was one of the youngest ones. But Todd got hold of me, and yes, I'm proud that I was there.
The units disbanded in 1944 and remained silent and unrecognised for many years. This village kept its clandestine history well hidden. I'm glad Coleshill's secret, though, is no longer a well-kept one. And there's more about Churchill's secret army on our Wiltshire website. The address is bbc.co.uk/Wiltshire.